if you're thinking of grinding some tech tree lines for yourself and want to have really good ships in your port so that you can play them either in the randoms or in the ranked or even in the clan battles or even in other game modes, this video will help you to decide top 5 tech tree ships that I personally recommend as a very experienced player in World of Warships. These ships are very tuned to the meta, they are very strong. Some of them got recently released and some of them are still old, but they are still super gold that I can absolutely recommend you in this video. So watch this video and try to understand what I meant by the ships that I would recommend. And again, it's totally up to you whether you will grind them or not. And by the way, if you are new to the channel, definitely subscribe, hit the like button so that the other newer players or some players who have just started playing the game, they can also get some value from this video. So let's start talking about the destroyer. If you want to play destroyers and if you want to have the reliability and comfortability and also the gun power with torpedo performance, so you basically get everything in a same destroyer. You basically have a very beginner friendly destroyer, and that is going to be the Daring. Now Daring is the old Tech Tree tier 10 British destroyer, but it is still gold and it is still really good to this meta because couple of things. Daring has short smokes. The short smokes are the best consumable in the game. Why? Because you deploy a smoke. If you, for example, want to get another smoke, for example, let's say you want to have another smoke in like 40-50 seconds, well, you will have the short burst smoke generator helping you get your smoke ready in just that small amount of time, which means that if you maybe mess up with your first smoke, you can always use second smoke within a minute, within like under 30 seconds once your smoke runs out. Okay, you can see here you have smoke dispersion time only 40 seconds, so you can basically farm with your very fast firing guns, really good fire chance and really good AP performance. So the gun performance is very competitive. On the other hand, you have the smokes, so you basically hit and run onto any ship that you want to farm. If it's I would say spotted by some other ship, you can just farm, utilize that damage, and then if that battleship is pushing, you have 10 torpedoes, which means you have the combination of everything that you want to have on a destroyer. And also, if you are tired of eating torpedoes, well, Daring has built-in acceleration that just makes ships accelerate very quickly, which is a very strong point of the Daring. And also, you have the Hydro, which means that if you tend to eat torpedoes, for example, like in the Shimakaze line, maybe you might play a torpedo boat destroyer and you are tired of that shit, you can use the Daring. The whole line has access to short-range hydroacoustic search, which means that any torpedo that is coming towards you, it will be spotted at 3 km. That will ensure that you will not eat torpedo at all whatsoever, because the consumable action time is also 180 seconds. Short smokes, which means that you can engage, disengage at your demand. Hydro, which means that you don't eat torpedoes. Sometimes you can utilize that hydro if there is a ship that is coming behind the island, which means that you will have that extra information what ship will be doing in advance. And also, here's the thing that makes it really good. Your HP pool is decent, and on top of that you have heals. Seriously, I just absolutely love the line because you have so much survivability with the smokes, and also you have access to heals. Now these heals are not super heals that you might be finding on some newest destroyers, like for example the Hull, like for example the Nustoshimi that you find on a coal resource. That's not the thing, but this heal is still gonna be enough to give you a full HP on the Daring, more than 30,000. That it can do, and even more if you have the Andrew Cunningham, which is the legendary captain, which I haven't put in the Daring, which I would highly recommend that you do that. So if you are a destroyer player, use the Andrew Cunningham and you will get extra repair party, extra consumables, simply because let me just show you quickly that why that Andrew Cunningham is going to be a very good combination with this tech tree. And there it is. I have used it on carrier, but you can always use it on Daring, and honestly it is very powerful. Like for example, if you look at the I would say this talent, Ruthless, by the way, if you get the Witherer on Daring, which is very much possible with very good fire chance, you can get improvement in main battery load time. You can also get improvement in your ship speed if you land 4 or at least more than 4 torpedoes that get 4 floods. And also the biggest and the most important part of this captain is going to be the consumables. So if you basically destroy 2 ships, you are going to get extra consumable. Now in this case, the Eagle only have 1 consumable, which is the fighter plane, but in the case of Daring, you will basically get extra consumable for everything, right? Which makes it very powerful, especially with the Andrew Cunningham. Just an extra tip, and honestly, with this performance, you will absolutely love it. You have really good tops, they have decent range, they are not too bad, your concealment is not bad considering you have a very good gun performance. You cannot go wrong with this ship. I can guarantee you this ship is gonna be not only the fun, but also very strong. And especially if you're also like tired of submarines, for example, you just hate submarines, well, that's another advantage that they don't have, right? You have the consumable action time that is very long, and then at the same time you have what I would say the counter to submarines, so that they won't be able to do shit once you're pushing them, right? You just permanently hydro them in that way if you are super close to them. So that is huge advantage. Like, you have so many things to do in a single ship, and so much flexibility, so much versatility, so much firepower, adequate firepower at the same time, that this is the best destroyer to get for a Tech Tree, a must ship to have. I absolutely love it. You will definitely going to love it as well. And well, that is the first recommendation. If you're tired of playing heavy cruisers that does not have heavy cruiser like armor, for example, if you might have touched the Zhao line, or maybe if you have grinded out a cruiser that is Zhao, you're getting overmatched by 457mm guns, 431mm guns, and you'll be like, how can you counter this overmatch? I hate this. The gun performance is good and all that stuff, but you take so much damage. Well, there it is. UrAvgWarGamer come up with a design that can actually help you to tank those shells. And Petro not only is good in the armor scheme, which again is the most powerful point, okay? Petro has the armor that is 40mm deck and side, and such a small superstructure. And by the way, if you are fully bowing in like this, you have the turrets that cover this part of superstructure. You have the conning tower that can sometimes bounce the AP shells. So in this angle, you can tank so much damage that I can't emphasize you enough that Petro is one of the most tankiest cruisers at tier 10, provided by the fact that if you play this right, if you utilize this armor correctly, if you're simply angled enough, you can just absolutely crush. And look at the battleship, and battleship will be like, how can I do that much damage to this ship? This ship is not like, you cannot do anything to it. And that's the thing about the Petro that I love most. And now talking about the armor, we talk about the guns. Now it's heavy cruiser, it will absolutely going to feel like heavy cruiser because of the AP performance. The AP performance of Petro is very powerful. You have the penetration like that of battleships. Yes, your fire chance is not good, but the emphasis of this whole line is the more closer that you are to the target. Like for example, if you are around 11-12 kilometer, your dispersion will be better. If you are at long ranges, your dispersion will be worse. This is one thing that's sort of a downside. But if you are closer and utilize this armor and utilize these AP performance on the guns, at mid to close ranges, you will actually citadel the battleships. It's crazy. It citadel the battleships. It will do wonders. The AP performance is pretty much off the charts for 220mm guns. The AP performance is crazy. You have decent concealment, you have radar. So if you want to have match winning cruiser, unlike Zhao is also not bad, but you cannot counter DDs, right? You have some limitations that you're going to get overmatched, right? Obviously the limitation of the Petro is as soon as someone angles, then you have to only rely on shooting onto the superstructure. That's one thing. But on the other hand, if you are tired of the DD and if you want to basically do something about it, you do have the radar that lasts for as long as 20 seconds with the help of the captain skills and upgrades. And also if you, for example, buy this ship and if you want to tune it even further to the maximum performance, now that is something which I really like about the Petro. If you want to make it even more stronger and kind of get to the broken levels, to be honest, you can use two things. You can use the Kuznetsov, which is the legendary commander. It's going to cost you some definitely coal, but it will give you so much survivability if you have if you have lost HP below 10% of your total HP, if you have lost so much HP, this will give you instant DCP. This will give you like extra HP per second. It is so crazy on that tanky cruiser. And at the same time, if you use the leg mod, that combination that I'm using here, if you do this, Petro becomes one of the strongest tier 10 tech tree cruisers, heavy cruisers that you can get in the game. Like, it's super strong, super competitive. It is the ship that gets limited to one only in clan battles and even in the CODs. This ship is powerful enough because of that, because of these exact reasons, right? Very powerful, very tanky, very strong gun performance, and something that is a solution if you are not sort of wanting that overmatch that battleships tend to do to you, right? This thing will avoid that very, very nicely. And the guns with that mod, leg mod, which by the way improves the dispersion by minus 10%, obviously it just reduces the ship consumables by -1. You will have less consumables because of that, but then you have the Kuznetsov, and again, Kuznetsov does give you some better HP on heals, right? That's the thing that I absolutely love about it. Like, the guns are so good. The penetration, the alpha by the way also improves with this mod. It's crazy how powerful it makes the AP performance on these guns, and dispersion as well. So Petro is super good, super good tech tree. You cannot go wrong with this ship. This ship is definitely up to this meta. The Daring, the Petro, both are really good ships. These are the ships that are must to have for your port. Okay, another tech tree ship that I would say is an absolute monster as its current state right now is the C.Colombo. This Italian tier 10 tech tree battleship is an absolute monster, and I will give you the reasons. First of all, it has 16 semi-armor piercing guns that have decent sigma, but UrAvgWarGamer has decided to make it unbalanced. It's very strong without the leg mod. Everyone, maybe you might not know, but any experienced player must know this, and he would have taken a massive salvo at tier 10 from Colombo, courtesy of this leg mod. Again, these leg mod combinations are insane. You can get the leg mod from the research points, and obviously this makes the ship even more powerful because of that. So this improved range finders, your dispersion is with the 1.6 sigma, it's okay with 16 shells, and semi-armor piercing does not care about your angling. It's just gonna be smashing you 20k HP or maybe 15k HP without the mod. Without the mod, you can still do that damage, but with the mod, improvement in the reload time, not improvement in the reload time, improvement in the main battery dispersion, along with the third slot that also improves the main battery shell dispersion, so you get double mods for improving the dispersion, ensures that you're going to get super spicy 16-step volley onto a cruiser, onto a battleship, and it negates the angling by a huge margin, and it will absolutely click you. It clicks a battleship, it clicks a cruiser to like 25, 30k, and even if you switch to AP, because it does have SAP that does not set fires, it will only raw pen, full pen, right? But then if you switch to AP onto the broadside cruiser, you can absolutely just devastate that cruiser. Devastating strikes, you can just print devastating strikes with the help of this AP. And then if you are not, I would say, satisfied with the gun performance, let's talk about the armor plating. Like, how much survivability does it get? Well, honestly, it's very, very armored. Like, look at the 50mm deck inside. You do have this armor belt, and it does also not tend to get citadel most of the time on broadside because of the way armor scheme works. Decent HP at 94,000, and to increase the survivability even further, that's what makes Colombo pretty ridiculous, is the fact that you have exhaust smoke generator. A smoke on a moving battleship for freaking 45 seconds. I can tell you one thing, this is so huge, it's not even funny. Okay, so what happens is, for example, you run out of DCP. Okay, you don't have DCP, you just use DCP on 2 fires by a Conqueror salvo. Now what you do, you DCP, and after some time you smoke off instantly. Not instantly, but after some time, like after 20 seconds if you have shoot the guns. because once you shoot the guns, you do have some time before you disengage. You have to wait for 20 seconds if you shoot the guns, and then once you disengage, you use the exhaust smoke generator, and you basically kite away, run away from that situation scot-free. It's a get out of jail free card. While you utilizing the smoke for 45 seconds, you will load up your DCP, you will get your cooldown thick enough, and at the same time you will have another heal ready up after that smoke runs out. This is so much superiority in survivability, and at the same time so much firepower, that it is right now one of the most broken ships in the game. If you haven't maybe recognized the Colombo in this game, well, if you watched this video till this time, now you know how broken this ship is. Your survivability is cracked, your guns are like uber cracked. I don't know how they managed to get this thing right now without getting nerfed. And by the way, here's the thing. They come up with the King of the Seas, which is the tournament, very powerful tournament among big players, and they have banned this leg mod. That's how broken it is. They just removed it from the tournament because it makes the Colombo guns pretty absurd. Pretty absurd. They're already pretty good, and just making it more powerful enough like this, that's the reason. I explained everything that you need to know about the Colombo. Very powerful tech tree. You cannot go wrong with this ship. Honestly, you cannot go wrong with this in this current state. It's one of the most, I would say, broken ship at tier 10. Tech tree tier 10. Now, if you do have gathered some experience on cruisers, okay, that is very important. Before talking about this ship, it's the condition that if you want to make this ship work, by the way, it's ridiculously powerful. It's super toxic if you push into it. It is devastating. Anything pushes into Jinan is basically going to meet with the wall of torpedoes, huge skill wall of tops, huge amount of DPM that has the highest fires per minute in this game. Your DPM is off the charts. Yes, they don't have the cruiser caliber guns, these are destroyer caliber guns, but they are still very good. You do have access to smoke, you do have access to get out CV, which means that CV can lose a lot of planes in this case. Like if you hate CVs, Jinan is great. So if you need to have a cruiser that's performing so well with this toxic fire chance, insane firepower, insane HE DPM, as you can see, 431,000 HE damage per minute. In a minute you will be doing that much damage theoretically on a battleship if you aim at the superstructure, because you don't full pen. Again, these are destroyer caliber guns, you don't have that pen, but again, you set fires like that, you find on a Des Moines, you get 203mm guns performance with fire chance. Like, if you do not understand what I have said here, like seriously, you need to understand. Like seriously, you have to understand like what I have said here. Like a Des Moines is a tier 10 tech 3 cruiser that have 203mm guns. It has 14% base fire chance. Okay, with these 203mm guns, not having that insane DPM, 274,000 HE DPM. And if you look at the Jinan, okay, like what the hell? You get 13.5% fire. You get the base fire chance of 203mm guns of Des Moines. That always baffles my mind, right? Yes, I have kitted out fully with the flags, and I haven't kitted out the Des Moines, which will increase the fire chance of Des Moines itself, but still, these are lower caliber guns. So you basically throw flame. Every single salvo has a high chance of setting fire with this. And then you have smokes. So you basically can disengage. Like, it's, again, these all things are valuable, and these all things can work if you have the experience. If you don't have the experience, do not blame me and say later in the comment section, oh bro, I basically picked the Jinan, I get devastated every single time, please help me. No. Try to understand what Jinan is about. Try to look at the videos, how to play Jinan. You have to understand when the ships are pushing into you, it becomes the most toxic cruiser. And what I meant by that, you need spotting. If you have the spotting from a good DD player, then you smoke up, and then you just basically farm with your insane HE DPM, and then to just make things worse for any pushing battleship, you get the torpedo reload booster. You get the torpedoes that are 10 of them on each side. You have 10 torpedoes. Look at this. 5, 10. 5, 10. 10 torpedoes on each side, really decent reload time, 113 seconds, and you have torpedo reload booster. What can go wrong, right? What can go wrong for the enemy battleship if he pushes you? Yeah, everything will go wrong for him if he does that. Like if he does the push on Jinan with these deep water tops that are, you just cannot spot them unless you have a hydro. You're screwed. Their reaction time is so ridiculous. Their damage is so good. 21,000 damage. They have 0.8 kilometer detection on the torpedo itself. So any battleship that is pushing, he will spot the top at under 1 kilometer. Imagine that reaction time. You don't have any reaction time. Let alone for a cruiser, it's impossible. Yes, they don't deal damage to destroyers. Yes, they don't do damage. Yes, you don't have any counter UDDs. Again, these are the things that you can mitigate by having a good division player of a destroyer, right? You can do that, absolutely. So these are the things that if you manage and understand the ship well, and I haven't even talked about the armor. Like this armor can go super freaking trolley. 32mm side armor, you know what that really mean? You can absolutely bait this armor plating and you can bounce any caliber that is less than 460mm. Like, bro, you have, so it's all about like it's all about that you are that skillful of a player and utilize all of these strengths which I'm explaining. Obviously the weakness are there. Huge citadel, you can be smashed, you don't have that much thickness, and then you do have 32mm deck plating, which means the Yamato, Satsuma, Incomparable, Shikishima, they love you. Bro, if they get 2 shells on top of your superstructure, you're gonna get obliterated because of that. But for that you have to play safe, okay? Not everything is roses and red and everything is not like gold. It's just that it has some weaknesses that you have to mitigate. Obviously, it does not have really good HP to begin with as well. Really bad HP, okay? Not so impressive. I have built it with the help of the Charlie Kilo Flag and that Quanrong, which by the way is an amazing captain. A must with this Jinan. And you will see your HP is still going to be around 40,000. So, still not bad at all. So, yeah. You cannot go wrong with Jinan if you know what you're doing. And if you get the spotting, you smoke up and you basically spew these flamethrower shells and also hush the CVs and also having decent concealment that you can outspot many cruisers and even battleships. Easy, peasy, lemon squeezy. So, perfect ship for perfectly this meta. Okay, the last ship that I would personally recommend, and that is going to be the Libertad. A secondary focused battleship. I have focused on the Colombo. It's the sniper battleship. It can shit you on long ranges. The Libertad basically shits you and shits you crazy hard at mid to close ranges. Why? Well, Libertad is one of the beasts that have access to 12 guns with decent dispersion with 1.7 Sigma. Again, if you are a newer player, go and check out what is the Sigma parameter. But if I give you some summary, 1.7 Sigma for a secondary based battleship is pretty decent considering it has 6 guns. Decent penetration, decent guns. Yes, the alpha is less, but the guns are really good. The accuracy is overall decent. And on top of that, one of the very good armor platings that you can get on a tier 10. So 51mm plating, which means many light cruisers, many destroyer caliber shells, everything will be getting shatters. Except for the cruisers like the Hindenburg, the Stalins that have 3 or 5mm guns. Those heavy cruisers can penetrate your deck. Otherwise, you will shatter destroyer and cruiser, light cruiser caliber guns. And even 203 guns, 203mm guns like you find on Des Moines or Zhao, you will also gonna shatter with this. This armor plating combined with decent HP, combined with great guns, and then we talk about the secondaries, that's where the Libertad becomes absolutely crazy. Because not only that you have the F key, which again is the newest gimmick that Wargaming has added, and obviously this is, I would say for now, specific to this nation, but they have added F keys onto other nations. But for this nation, they have given it, and boy oh boy, not only that you get the firing range. So if you might be thinking, I play German battleship, they don't have enough firing range. I wish I would have that firing range improvement. Maybe I want to have like longer ranges to farm with secondaries. Well, your wish come true, because That's what it does. You increase the damage, you increase the reload time, you increase the range, which means that you can pull anything that comes into you. You pull any ship that is running from 12.5 kilometer of your secondaries, you basically press the F key and you basically farm it for some good 30 seconds. And, well, the biggest and the most powerful thing of the Libertad is that you have cruiser caliber secondary guns. Some of the cruisers don't have access to 234mm guns. And that HE penetration that the Libertad on secondary does have. This is crazy. You have these guns, these secondary guns that work like cruiser. You basically can say that you have the cruiser strapped on one side, cruiser strapped on other side. And then you basically push in again. If you are not a good player and if you don't understand the crossfires, if you do not understand that you die quickly, obviously a ship is strong with secondaries, but you have to be 1 versus 1, 1 versus 2 maximum. If you are like under 4 or 5 ships, how are you gonna survive, bro? You wanna be just pushing and just dying? Again, this is the same thing. It's a niche, just like the Jinan, which means it's not like Daring, which have so many get out of jail free card stuff and like that. You have to be competitive, a bit competitive to make the guns work, the secondaries work. But if you can make it work, I tell you, you basically burn crisp. Kill him with raw secondary penetration, because these penetration numbers are insane. 59mm penetration, 24% fire chance. Bro, if you go and try and check out maybe in the, I would say, the training battle, you will eventually see what I'm talking about. You're just gonna be melting, setting tons of fires with these secondaries. That it's insane, right? Obviously you have the weakness, right? You by the way, you have improved. Okay, the thing that I've missed out completely, you have improved acceleration parameters. So basically accelerate relatively quickly compared to other battleships. So you also have this advantage. So many advantages. If you can utilize them, you can absolutely do crazy with this battleship. So this tech tree battleship definitely deserves to be in your port. The tier 10 line, these 5 lines that I've explained, you cannot go wrong with any of them. These are really related to the meta. You can play them in randoms, you can play in rank. They can just do really wonders, especially the Colombo, especially the Libertad for battleships. These are the top-notch picks. Top-notch picks. You cannot go wrong with this. Obviously, if you hate CVs, well, I can't guarantee that you will be fighting them against them well, because anti-defense is pretty bad. Like, compared to fighting against tier 10s, it's really bad. Against tier 8s, it's gonna do something, but tier 10s, you will struggle. So there are some weaknesses. But the strengths, if you utilize the strengths, and by the way, I haven't even talked about that you have the heals that will just quickly give you that cooldown time of 55 seconds or 60 seconds base. So something that the German battleships, even the Hanover, the super battleship, does not have access to the heal cooldown time, which again, the Libertad gets the advantage. So you also heal up very quickly, faster, with that 55 seconds of cooldown time with the help of captain skills and upgrades. So you cannot go wrong with this. This ship is an amazing ship. You cannot go wrong with Colombo, Libertad, Jinan, Daring, the ship that I have mentioned. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you get the point of these top 5 tech tree lines, and you can let me know what do you think about these ships. I think Petro, Daring, Jinan, you basically have the best of everything. Heavy cruiser, light cruiser, destroyer that is super good, battleship, secondary based battleship, sniping based battleship. You have basically covered everything for today's meta, like with these 5 ships, period. These 5 ships are so good. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments. Take care and please subscribe. Peace out.